day, sir. I am gathering info on the historical date 538. Sorry, find much historical proof for that date. It's all over the Bible and history. This is gonna be fun. Emperor Justinian decreed, passed it into law in 533. So interesting, it actually took effect in 538. The Ostrogoths were the opposition. AI activated, so let's wipe them out.
Definitive historical proof that 538 AD marks the papal seat's rise to civil power, especially through the implementation of Justinian's 533 decree regarding papal primacy and the Ostrogothic defeat in Rome, depends on several strands: secular historians' evidence, primary source records, and articulation by Ellen G. White. Here is the clearest summary of these components based on respected sources and documentary references. #Secular historical evidence. In 533 AD, Emperor Justinian did issue a decree declaring the Bishop of Rome the head of all the holy churches, granting significant legal recognition to papal primacy. This decree, however, lacked practical effect due to ongoing wars. The effective enforcement of Justinian's decree required the removal of the Ostrogothic power in Rome. In 538 AD, Belisarius, Justinian's general, captured Rome and expelled the Ostrogoths, effectively ending their siege. After this, the papacy could exercise civil authority in Rome without Arian opposition. Ellen G. White's testimony. Ellen G. White ties the beginning of papal supremacy to the removal of the Ostrogoths in 538, viewing this year as the starting point for the 1260-year prophecy, Daniel 7:25, Revelation 13:5-7. Her most prominent statement, "The 40 and 2 months are the same as the time and times and the dividing of time, 3 years and a half, or 1260 days of Daniel 7. The time during which the papal power was to oppress God's people. This period began with the supremacy of the papacy, AD 538, and terminated in 1798. The Great Controversy, page 266. The 40 and 2 months are the same as the time and times and the dividing of time. This period began with the supremacy of the papacy, AD 538. The Great Controversy, page 266. Conclusion. Multiple respected historians and Ellen G. White testify that 538 AD marks the practical beginning of papal civil supremacy, because it is when the Ostrogothic opposition ended and Justinian's decree could be implemented in Rome. This is demonstrated by both the cited imperial decree, a fact of history, and testimony to actual papal civil control of Rome from 538 onward. For full quotations or source details from Mosheim, Gibbon, Bauer, or the writings of Ellen White, further primary source excerpts can be retrieved as needed. The 40 and 2 months are the same as the time and times and the dividing of time. This period began with the supremacy of the papacy, AD 538. The Great Controversy, page 266. Historical accounts and primary sources establish Justinian's decree. Here is a list of key historians and sources who discuss or support the events surrounding 538 AD, papal supremacy, and the impact of Justinian's decree of 533. Major historians and academic sources. Johann Lorenz von Mosheim, church historian. Edward Gibbon, The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. Samuel Edgar, The Variations of Popery. J. C. B. Bauer, History of the Popes. Joseph Milner, History of the Church of Christ. Mosheim, Gibbon, Bauer, as commonly cited together in Adventist literature. Encyclopedia Britannica. Michael Kerrigan, Siege of Rome entry. Milton v. Anastos, Justinian I and his relations with Rome. Cambridge Histories, The Fall of Ostrogothic Rome and the Justinianic Reconstruction. Other cited academic and religious commentators. Oecumenius, early commentator on Revelation, contemporary to these events. Various Adventist scholars and sources such as the Biblical Research Institute and Ministry Magazine, summarizing and condensing the work and evidence from mainstream historians. Facts of Faith and the Great Controversy by Ellen G. White, citing mainstream historians and arranging the chronology. These historians and sources collectively demonstrate both the political, military context, Ostrogothic expulsion, Justinian Belisarius's campaigns, and the legal, religious precedent that led to the practical supremacy of the papal seat in Rome in 538.